Step 1 Unit Guide. This video presentation is to provide you with some information about planning for unit guides, as planning is the first step to know when it is appropriate time to move on. Having a schedule or timetable that lays out what you are to cover over the years allows you to make changes whenever necessary in order for the students to gain the greatest amount of quality teaching for learning. This also prevents content being skipped or missed throughout the year and ensures that the teachers are covering everything that they need to cover for the year in that group. It prevents students playing a different sport each term and not knowing as to what the learning outcomes were. Firstly, it is very important for teachers to look at their relative curriculum, and in this case, it is the Year 9, 10 Health and Physical Education curriculum. Teachers need to look at the achievement standards as their first point of reference and establish what it is they need to teach. Here is my example of the Year 9, 10 HPE achievement standards. As you can see, I have highlighted some keywords throughout the paragraph in two colors, and I will explain this further in a bit more detail later on. But for now, we will look at what I highlighted in yellow. So as you can see, the main words here is analyze, identity, synthesize, critique, and so on, which indicates that there is theory work behind this information. Hence why on the right hand side I have placed 9.5 with most of the words and included media for cross-curriculum connection. Now the green highlights represents the majority of physical activities and applied theories such as feedback and self-improvement. Hence the list on the right hand side includes sports, movements, and so on. So most teachers would look at these two highlighted pieces and think, I can teach this with one block of theory and one block of practical lessons that is separate. However, I would argue that there is a lot of connections between theory and practical applications, and therefore I have created a unit guide that looks like this. As you can see, in Term 3, Year 9, I have placed theory and practical next to each other for each week. So if you Term 3, Year 9, this would be 9.5 theory, 9.5 and 9.56. 9.6 is practical. Now I do need to state that this unit guide was developed by students and lecturers at Monash University and is not my own work, and was created under the assumption that the majority of schools operate with two 60-minute HPE lessons each week. This is why I am able to split the week into two sections, where week 1 lesson 1 contains theory and week 1 lesson 2 contains practical. This may differ between private and public schools, and teachers should consider how many lessons they are allocated each week. Now the next step is to complete your unit guide with reference to your relative curriculum, and ensure you also consult your Year 9-10 unit description, which states that the other areas that need to be covered, including alcohol and drugs, food and nutrition, and so on. Once you have an idea of how your content is going to be scheduled and it has been laid out in some sort of manner, such as this table, you can then begin planning your weekly lesson. Watch the next video on how to make your unit guide and break up your content even further into weekly schedules in order to understand when to move on.